If we look at childhood in North America right now, we can see that it's seriously under threat. We can see that in the numbers of kids being diagnosed with all kinds of behavioral, developmental, and mental problems. We can see it in the millions of kids that are being medicated. We can see it in the statistics that show that as many as 50% of American adolescents meet the diagnostic criteria for one or another mental health disorder at some time during their teenage years. We can see it in the frustration of parents who believe and experience that they've lost the power to somehow bring up their kids according to their own values. The impotence that many parents experience in the face of the culture. We can see it in terrible situations in the schools where kids are not learning how to read and write as they did decades ago. And then in the aggression in the culture and the drug use and so on. And if we're seeing this, all these problems arise on such a broad scale, we really have to ask what's going on. And it's not enough to blame individual kids for behaving badly, or parents for not parenting properly. Because if that was the problem, we'd see individual cases here or there, but we wouldn't see these problems manifest on such a widespread social level. And if we are seeing that, then we have to ask what's going on in society. And particularly, well, if you were looking at a plant that wasn't developing properly in your garden, you wouldn't start blaming it for making the wrong choice. You would ask what conditions are lacking: soil, irrigation, sunlight. Now, similarly with childhood development. So essentially the question we have to ask is, what conditions do children need for healthy development? And what conditions are available to them today? Now, recent research done here in the States actually shows that the optimal environment for child rearing are hunter-gatherer societies. Now, that doesn't mean we all have to become hunters and gatherers. That's not going to happen. But what is it about those societies that facilitates healthy human development? Well, what it is the attachment relationship of parents to adults. And what you have in those societies are not just isolated parents living in a nuclear family setting, separate from extended family, separate from clan, separate from culture. But what you have is what the African saying asserts: it takes a whole village to raise a child. So children were meant to be parented in a much broader adult set of relationships, number one. Number two, if you look at what the brain development of the child requires, I'm talking about the physiological development of key brain circuits to do with stress responses, emotional self-regulation, impulse control, attention, decision-making, picking up on social cues.